So I guess my first hot take is that being original is overrated.
What do you mean by that?
So I think that a lot of people, when they are creating their film, they want to be as unique as possible in every respect. So they're going to be, or every aspect rather, they're going to try to make characters more like wacky. They're going to make scenes more memorable when the scene doesn't really call for it a lot of the time. They're going to try to go over. They're basically going to try to overstep their bounds on every possible way just to make it more unique. And I think that when you look at the best shows, when you look at the best movies, they're all sort of just retellings of stories that have already been told. Breaking Bad obviously has a lot of you can make a lot of claims that there's sort of references to Shakespeare in the way that it's sort of a tragedy. It's about being. And a lot of Shakespeare tragedies play on kings and play on obviously like the whole Ozymandias thing, and then it plays on power and megalomania. And obviously I think that in Succession is another key example of just ripping Shakespeare. It's basically King Lear, but told with the Rupert Murdoch family, but renamed. So it's everything you see and I think those are like, obviously those seem pretty unique, but they're really just retellings of older stories.
I'm going to say I disagree with you. I don't think originality is overrated, but I do think that it is something to strive for. I think the examples that you cited with Breaking Bad and Succession kind of be retelling Shakespearean stories. We've gotten to a point where basically nothing is original just because of how many centuries of media creation has been possible by the human race. And I think being original is pretty much, I'm going to say, impossible, but I don't think it's overrated. I think you should try as hard as you can to try to tell something new. And just also by virtue of you specifically, the audience or you, whatever, by the virtue of you making something, that in itself is original. Because one of the biggest things is like if you have a 120-page script and you give it to one director and then you give it to another director, the movies are not going to be the same in the slightest. I mean, they might have similar elements, sure, just because they got the same source material, but the person who makes the film is who brings the originality to it. And because of that, I don't think originality is overrated.
I don't want to offense it, but I do agree in that regard that when you make
Are we breaking the rules like one hot take in?
No, it's I agree with that aspect of it, but I think that more so what my point is trying to say is that when you're starting out with the idea of it, I think a lot of people can be discouraged because they're going to think like, that movie's already been made, that show's already been done. And I think the sentiment from a lot of the elite directors and stuff, Quentin Tarantino has a famous quote where he says, that movie that we haven't seen yet, that movie that we all haven't seen yet, go out and make that movie. And that's obviously not a bad advice at all, but I think that when people when that really makes it, you really have to think big to get that done. And I think most people can't think that big in that regard. And I think that what I really mean about originality being overrated is that, one, I think it's mostly impossible, but two, I think that even if you have an idea that has already been told 100 billion times, it's okay to tell that story, because I think that if just exactly, by you doing it, it's going to be in your own way, but still it's not going to be like totally original.
Yeah. All right, I guess I don't think originality is overrated, but I also don't think okay, no, I don't want to fence it, but I'm going to say I don't think originality is overrated, but I think originality there doesn't have to be as much of an emphasis on it, and originality is easier to pull off than a lot of people think.
And before I get flamed, I'm not referring to like remakes and stupid ass fucking live action CGI Lion King adaptations.
Yeah.
That doesn't apply to that. I mostly just mean things that are original scripts when you have your own idea.
Yeah.
Not existing IPs.
Cool.